All right, hello everybody. This is World Dance for Humanity, and we're doing some simple floor work for you that you can do at home now. Part of our large repertoire of dance videos, of exercise videos, dance videos, enjoyment videos, but we also want to share our floor components. So there's core work and there is muscle work of different kinds, and I am Janet Reinick, the teacher. This is Amy Cluck, and Amy is a physical therapist. We are so lucky to have several physical therapists among us in World Dance for Humanity. So Amy has come around to help show me how to do it properly, and therefore you will see how to do it. This is pretty simple and not too strenuous, but of course you can do it to a higher level if you want to. But Amy's going to tell us all the right ways to do it. We also have on the chair on the right here, we have Inja, who's our assistant, and Zara over here, who will be joining us from time to time. All right, so we're going to start out like this, and Amy's going to tell us what to do. This is assuming that you've already warmed up a bit. So on our World Dance video playlist, we have some warm-up dance videos, which start very slowly so you can get your blood moving. And usually we get all warmed up like that, and then we do some floor work. And then at the very end of class, we do stretching. So this is not stretching. This is getting our cores working and happening. And so, yeah, let's do it, Amy.
Okay, so we're going to start with the bridge. Many of you know the bridge. To get in the right position, you want your knees about this far apart, and you will have your feet in line with your knees, in line with your hips. You slowly lift your hips up into the air, hold them up there, and then come down again slowly. And Janet has just the right amount of lift there. You don't need to arch your back. You just come up, do repetitions here, but you're moving slow like Janet's moving. This is not meant to be fast. And coming down is just as important as going up. So remember to come down slowly as you descend.
And I am breathing really deeply as I'm doing this. And I'm also relaxing my shoulders and letting my head really fall into the ground. And I'm relaxing between each lift, right?
Yes, that's right. So you get your muscles all the way relaxed as you come on back down so that you can get the full contraction.
So I'm really squeezing all the way through here as I come up. And squeezing that, and then actually letting go, right?
Yes.
Letting go all the way between. Because as you said, that you hit another muscle group if you go let it go all the way.
You get the whole muscle involved, exactly. Okay, the next exercise that we're going to do, so you're going to do 10 repetitions, do you want?
Yeah, like that. So we will we'll try to make a video where there's no talking, but for right now, we're just going to take you through a few of these, and then we'll do one where you can put your own music to it, whatever you want. But this video is specifically to make sure we're all doing it correctly so we're getting maximum benefit and no injuries. That's the name of the game. So let's say we've done a bunch of those and relax. Okie dokes.
Good. Okay, we're going to do clamshells. So in a very important muscle on the side of your hip, Jenna will demonstrate which one, right on the side, right there. You have your legs bent beneath you, and you keep your ankles together and lift your upper leg. Now, what you don't want to do is roll back. You've got to keep your hips stacked at all times.
Stacked.
If you are a little bit more advanced, you can lift your toes off the floor as Janet's doing now, but if you're at the beginning of doing clamshells, you should keep your feet on the ground. And your legs go up and down. What this is getting is a very important muscle that helps stabilize your pelvis for all the movements that you're going to need as you dance.
Say that again, Amy. So why are we doing this?
So this is the gluteus medius, which is the muscle that helps to hold our pelvis in place both as we're taking a step with the opposite leg, as well as when we're dancing, we move a lot to the side and we use this muscle a lot. Now again, you're coming down as slowly as you're going up. Slow movements are better than fast movements when you're working out. because you want to get the muscle to work in both directions. And as you're coming down, imagine that you're squeezing a great ball together. So you really also get the inside of your thighs working. This will make your thighs look very good.
Now, there's a couple of other tricks that I've learned through the years, and one is that you press this bone toward the leg, so that you're not stacked up here, but you're long in here and you're pressing it down. And the other thing is you can pretend there's a little army of ants walking under your waist here. So you're pulling up your waist a little bit, engaging your core, pulling this together like you're bringing in your waist, bringing in a little pocket there, pushing down that hip bone while all of this is happening.
And if you don't have as much flexibility as Janet has, you can only lift your hip a certain height without rolling back. That's your range of motion. That's what you should work within.
So here I am on the other side, and I'm stacking my hips. I'm pushing down this hip bone. I'm letting the ants crawl under my waist, and I'm going slowly all the way as far as I can go, all the way, and then slowly and controlled down. I'm engaging my core. I'm pulling in my core muscles. Amy, does it matter if your head is down or up?
You have to find out what works for you. Most people will either have their arms cocked up a little bit on the elbow or have your head out straight, resting on your arm.
I seem to do this. So, and the other thing is remembering not to roll back, but to keep those hips stacked, like we said, and go all the way up, and then slowly
and push
all
down,
the way
yeah,
down,
and
pushing
push
down
as if you're
here.
squeezing a giant
I find
ball.
it better to have my feet up instead of down.
It depends on your strength.
Yeah. I find it better there, but so anyway, that should give you really something going on. So you can do this while you're listening to your favorite music, or somebody's talking to you, or listening to the happy news we are all hearing on the radio and TV these days, the lovely news around the world, or maybe a good podcast or whatever you want. But it's nice to have, now that we have a little chance at home to be doing this, to really take your time, put on some gorgeous music or wonderful, inspiring wisdom, and listen to it. Okay, so let's say we've done a lot of those, Amy.
So we're going to go on to some abdominal work now, laying down on your back with your into the bridge position again, feet in line with knees, in line with hips. We're going to demonstrate the first stage of core work. The most important thing is that you understand where your bones on the front of your pelvis are. Janet's got her fingers on hers. I've got mine here. I call them the headlights. And what you want to do is, again, those little ants are crawling under your lower back. You have a tiny little arch because a natural spine has a little arch in the back. We don't have a flat back, so we don't work in flat back except for the bridge.
So we're not pushing it up and we're not pushing it down. We're letting your back just be natural.
The natural one.
Make sure your cats are paying attention to this because it's important.
The most important part of this is that those
See
two
what I mean?
bones, as you're moving your legs, do not move. They don't move on this plane in rotation, and they don't move on this plane. So what you're going to do is keep your fingers on the bones as Janet has them. Headlights. They're going to be pointed up to the ceiling, and then slowly again lift one leg into a 90-degree hip angle and a 90-degree knee angle, and bring it down and bring the other one up. Now, if your pelvis is rotating or rocking at this point, you need to stay here and continue to work here until you have that neutral, what we call the neutral pelvis, until you can control that. And by the way, the third point to think about is your pubis. So you're really in a triangle here, and you also can't be rocking this way. So no rocking at all. The pelvis stays very flat.
So before we get into this one, Amy, talk to us about all the muscles in our core.
So there are four components of the core. You have your transverse abdominis, which is here in your lower trunk. You have your multifidus, which are deep extensors that hug along the spine. You have your diaphragm, which is your respiratory muscle at the top of the barrel. And you have your pelvic floor, which is at the bottom of the barrel. So all of these exercises, it's important to remember we have to engage all components. We're going to talk a little bit about the shoulder girdle in a minute, but the lumbopelvic girdle is the most important one for our stability while we're walking and moving through space. So as we're doing this, also think about what's happening as you're breathing. Janet spoke before about how important it is to breathe in these exercises, and you need to inhale on one movement and exhale on the next, so that you're engaging your diaphragm. The other is to think about your pelvic floor, which is a group of muscles at the bottom of our trunk. The muscles generally go in this sort of weaving position, and you want to sort of pull them together. A number of times, the number of concepts we think about this exercise is knitting your abs together, holding in from the bottom, and relaxing the rest of your body. It's important that you're not straining your neck through any of this. Now, Janice advanced.
While you were talking, I went to the next one.
She went to the reverse marching, which she starts with both knees up at a 90-90, and then brings one foot down and the other. And as you advance through this, if you can do this without your pelvis moving laterally or up and down, then you can actually go to the next one, which is try to move two legs up and down without your pelvis moving. And you can see Janet can do this very nicely, but not everybody can. If you get any low back pain when you do this or strain, it means you're not ready to do this. But for some of our dancers who are advanced, the double leg is fine to do.
But remember to breathe. So I'm breathing. You breathe out on the one that is more work. That's my general rule. So I'm breathing out when I'm going down, and up when I come up I'm breathing in, and then down.
I remember to move slowly. You get more muscle activity in the slower movements.
For people like me, that means you gotta put on some really good music. Otherwise you just start speeding up. But if you put on some really good slow music, and keep it slow, and keep that work going on in your core, underneath, around and about, through your back, and it's really happening. And tell why we're not doing curls like normal sit-ups, why we've abandoned those.
Well, these are, there's a number of reasons why we're not doing curls anymore. One of them is that people tend to do them improperly, and they use both their neck flexors and their hip flexors, and they're not really using their abs at all. And the other one is...
So we used to do this, so tell why we are not doing this.
Yeah, so actually Janet can demonstrate the way to do them because she's doing them correctly. She's not flexing her neck, and she's using her upper, whoops, I have to stay 6 feet away. So she's using her upper...
No whacking.
her upper abs on this. Now, it's a strain on it tends to be a strain on your spine, your neck, and as I said, most people do them improperly. We're going to move on to the next advanced stage of a core.
Stretch out a little bit between.
Sure.
Just rolling, giving my tailbone a little massage, because it likes it and deserves it. Okay?
Yep. So back to your reverse marching again. We're going to add the arms. So this way we're going to use an alternate arm. So if your left leg goes down, your right arm comes up. Yes.
So we're not stretching it out yet, just...
You can do it, you're doing just, yeah, exactly.
So
you can also, if you're good at this and you don't have any low back pain, you can increase your lever arm here by stretching out your leg as Janet's doing. But if you get any twitching in your back, if it feels a strain, if you find yourself grasping by your neck muscles, if you're holding your breath, you have to go back to the more primary exercises.
So some people call this the dying bug, right?
The dead bug, yeah.
Dead bug. They call this the dead bug. We in World Dance don't think of it that way. We think of it as a butterfly coming out of a cocoon and drying her wings on the branch in the sunlight. That's our bug.
Yeah.
And also what I do while I'm doing it, I always use it as a chance to warm up my wrists and my ankles and stretch out my whole leg. So for me, if I could only do one of these exercises, it's this one, because in addition to working my core, I'm stretching out my limbs from my hip bone all the way to my toes, from my shoulder all the way up, So I'm stretching out my limbs and stretching out my body while rolling those joints, so to speak, and all the way on the other side. And then engaging my core as I switch, ning-a-ning-a-ning-a-ning-a-ning, stretching it out. And don't forget to put on beautiful music so you won't do it too fast. Put on something slower, a nice deep groove that's going to keep you going. But pull that out.
You'll notice Janet checks her pelvic position each time she moves, and that's a good thing for you to do to make sure it's not wiggling from side to side. But again, this is a very advanced exercise, and if you're not able to do that, then you need to stay back and
What's
do primary
what's the
ones.
what's the more moderate?
We've been going up. Yeah,
is
we've
it
been going
this?
advanced.
No.
Well, I wouldn't stretch out your leg all the way. I would keep it flexed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've sort of gone through the progression. So if they aren't able to do this, they should stay back at the early progression.
Okay, so everybody got that. So, but this one is such a good one to do if you can get there.
You could put your leg down, for instance, so you could put your leg down on the ground, right, and lift up this heel a little bit, right. So you could do this, and then you can move just one limb if you really want to do this, and you can't. There you go. So you rest between each one.
So that's a different variation of this.
Yeah.
Instead of up here, I'm putting it down.
That's right.
But the main thing is I'm working my core all the way through and through.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right, so let's stop with that when we've done that.